Welcome one and all to yet another eventful and exciting conference. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me today, and I'd like to say thank you to the PNG Corps for giving us a platform to share and collaborate once again. As mentioned, my name is Mark McMonagle and I represent Sun Engineering. We're a manufacturer and a constructor with operations in Australia, Papua New Guinea, China and other Pacific countries. Sun Engineering was started 50 years ago by my father, Patrick McMonagle. Back then, the market for us in Queensland was in power station construction and maintenance. So we had projects in basically all the power stations throughout Queensland, doing either construction or maintenance projects. And then we had projects in New South Wales and South Australia, and we also did some power projects here in PNG at the Moitaka Power Station in Port Moresby. And recently we constructed a 240 megawatt gas-fired power station in Mount Isa. While we started out in power, we have successfully delivered thousands of projects across numerous sectors throughout the region. Some of our notable achievements include the construction of mega stadiums like Suncorp Stadium, airports like Cairns International Airports, many coal mines, gold mines, chemical plants, port facilities, road and rail projects, pedestrian bridges, hospitals, petroleum terminals, food processing facilities, and even amusement park rides. We also delivered projects throughout the Pacific countries, including Nauru, Fiji, Guam, Solomon Islands, just to name a few. In addition to being a constructor, we have large steel fabrication workshops in Australia, China, and Papua New Guinea. My brother is the chairman of our company in China, and our China fabrication facility mostly makes amusement park rides for all around the world, North America, Europe and the likes. And it exports globally. This facility is our largest fabrication and our most automated facility. The facility in China is 3 hectares under roof, and our second largest facility is in Brisbane, which is 1 hectare under roof. We have fabrication workshops in Port Moresby, where it directly supports our PNG projects. We've also exported to Australia from this workshop and replaced fabricated products that are normally imported from elsewhere. The setup of our workshop in Port Moresby has been to compete with those imports from Asia into PNG and to Australia and to replace them. However, in the past 12 months, our workshop in Port Moresby has become dormant. This has led to us having to send some of our PNG workshop employees to our workshops in Australia and to projects in Australia. The workshop in Port Moresby is dormant mainly due to fewer construction activities in PNG. Also, what activities there are in PNG, they still seem to import the fabricated product from Asia. I don't understand why fabricated items are being imported, because if duties are appropriately applied, fabricated product from Asia is far more expensive than steel fabricated in Papua New Guinea. In fact, the wages in PNG, in our factory in PNG, are lower than the wages in our factory in China. And for PNG standards, we are a very high wage payer. All I can do is hope that duties are appropriately applied to products being imported that can be manufactured in PNG to help increase capacity, talent and employment in PNG. We entered the market in PNG over 35 years ago, where we did manufacturing for the Panguna mine project in Bougainville from our Brisbane workshop. We then entered the construction sector in PNG about 25 years ago, where we started to deliver mechanical construction projects in Lahire. Since then, we have set up a PNG company and workshops and have been involved in just about every mine in Papua New Guinea. The only mine that we have not worked in is Ramu Nickel in Madang. We have also designed and constructed many bulk fuel storage facilities and terminal upgrades around PNG and delivered projects at Napa Napa Refinery, Puma Refinery, in the Highlands for oil search, Santos and the likes. Plus, we were also fortunate to supply and construct the Hilton Hotel and Convention Centre in Port Moresby. Predominantly all of our work in PNG has been for the private sector. Whilst we'd like to also work for the public sector, I believe there would need to be substantial improvements in the procurement and probity processes before I could consider servicing the public sector in PNG. On that point, I'd like to give you my perspective on the current situation of the projects and in the resource sector in PNG. Estimates from the MRA indicate that major mineral reserves will potentially be depleted by 2060. With the lead time for project development in PNG estimated at over 20 years, without exploration activity picking up, the ability to replace these mineral assets is fast diminishing. Without active interest in exploration sector, as indicated by the reduced number of licences being issued, the pipeline for potential future projects will continue to shrink. If I compare mineral exploration spend in Papua New Guinea in 2013, the spend was 605 million kina, whereas in 2022, the spend was 84 million kina. This is an 86% decline in exploration expenditure. However, if I compare exploration spend globally, there is virtually no difference between 2013 and 2022, with the majority of minerals exploration spend being in gold, then copper. This paints a very sombre picture of what the investment community thinks of PNG as a country where they are prepared to speculate and spend exploration dollars in. According to the World Gold Authority in 2024, it advises that the chances of a discovery leading to a mine development are less than 0.1%. There are also many huge projects in the LNG space, including Papua LNG, Pinyang, Pasca, Wildebeest and Laris Energy, among others. You would have to assume there is well over $1 trillion of development opportunities in Papua New Guinea, still in the ground. But I repeat, from discovery to development, it can take on average 10 to 20 years to develop some of these major resources, which means the economic forecast for PNG does not look promising for the people of PNG. Historically, it is these resources that provide the economic stimulus that lifts the living and wealth standards of its citizens. Sorry, I've got some pages around the wrong way, my apologies. Okay. However, investors and resource companies are currently reluctant to enter jurisdictions where there is regulatory uncertainty and where the terms applicable to projects are not clear. If the PNG government can find a way to give regulatory stability and confidence to the market, the construction sector will grow exponentially in PNG. But most importantly, the citizens of PNG will prosper greatly. But regrettably, for now, we are in a relatively depressed market. I'll give you some brief insights into our challenges of the ups and downs. Labour resources. In PNG, labour resources for us is a positive. Whilst the workforce as a whole is not as broadly educated or trained as compared to our workforces in Australia, they definitely make up for it in work attitude and work ethic. I'm grateful and appreciative of the attitude and the abundance of the workforce in PNG. Yes, in some areas, the general workforce may not be as well skilled or trained, but with the right supervision and training, this can easily be overcome. We have certainly proven that to be the case in our long history of developing the local PNG workforce on our projects and in our Port Moresby workshop. I recently exported a crew from PNG, 100% management and 100% workforce, to deliver a petroleum project in Nauru. for the Nauru government. The client was more than impressed with the quality of our PNG trades and project management and have since awarded us another 2 tanks, so they've got to go back to Nauru to build some more tanks. So in general, the labour market in PNG is an upside. However, sometimes getting visas for us to take them to other countries can be challenging. It'd be great if that was made easier and we'd be able to export a lot more Papua New Guineans around the Pacific and to Australia and other countries. Imports and exports have proven to be a challenge for us. In our industry, we have very strict timeframes and constraints. For example, if I'm fabricating steelwork for one of our mine projects in Australia, it is theoretically more cost effective for me to import the raw materials from Asia into PNG, fabricate it, paint it, and then export it to our projects in Australia. However, in reality, this has not been the case. The biggest issue I'm facing is the time constraints of getting imported materials across the ports. It is, in some cases, taking me up to a month to get things across the port. So I'd just recommend that you select and choose a very good import-export company to help you get through those processes. If we do, hopefully we'll be able to get more exports for PNG. Logistics. As most of the projects we work on are very remote with little road connectivity around the country, the cost of logistics and mobilising our equipment and people can be cost prohibitive. One of the big issues is foreign currency. Foreign currency is by far one of our biggest roadblocks to conducting business in PNG in the construction sector. The country does not have sufficient stock of materials and equipment on hand to service the large projects. Accordingly, we must import and pay for these materials and equipment in either AUD or US dollars. This creates a huge cash flow constraint for constructors, and it is extremely difficult to exchange PNG kina for any other currency. Law and order. Breakdown in law and order is not only a social risk, but can also be a significant business risk. It adds a lot of cost to doing business in PNG through civil unrest, lost time, damage or stolen property, etc. Furthermore, it adds untold pressures to our employees and their families. Critical employees may choose not to work away on a project so they can remain at home looking after the safety of their family. However, in summary, Sun Engineering and my family venturing into PNG construction sector has been personally and professionally very gratifying. One of the big positives that people may not be aware of is from a constructor, Papua New Guinea is a less risky market for us to work in than Australia. There is far more commercial risk to be had in Australia than there is in PNG. So for people wanting to invest and do business in PNG, it's a big positive for doing business there. However, the fact is that at various times, the market has been unstable for us and due to the ups and downs. And there are some times there, like for example, the past year we've had a workshop in PNG, but with very little work going through it. So we're losing money having that workshop in PNG, but it supports our efforts and our construction projects around the country. So I need to keep it there, but we're also looking at moving a fabrication facility to Lae. I think that once the PNG government, I'm confident though that one day the government will find a way forward to optimise foreign investment with sustainable equity and growth for all involved, particularly for the people of PNG. Once the PNG government can create the investment environment to enable the achievement of a balance in fair return for its people and its investors, they'll be able to provide stability and security sufficient for the investment world to once again regain confidence in PNG as an attractive investment destination. Subsequently, PNG can further develop its resources and energy industries and as its citizens are the custodians of these resources, if left undeveloped, they provide no return to the citizens of PNG. When this occurs, we'll be in a position to realise our investment objectives and in turn provide vast employment and training opportunities for our large resident PNG workforce. This will also create more taxes for PNG and hopefully improve the living standards for all PNG citizens. Bear with me on this one. Thank you, Lord Haram. I liki story belong me. Nami like you. Na family belong you. Lord gat wampala good pala. Na hamamas Christmas toro. Thank you.